You are listening to Opus de Requiem, a 7th Sea First Edition actual play by Hallowed Haven Studios. Viviana, you've been on a ship bound from Isen called Demuva, or the Seagull, which has been on the water for a few days now. And for the most part, the trip's been pretty smooth sailing. You're headed for Montaigne. You know that the plan is for the ship to follow the northern coast down around to find the river, and then follow the river as far up as it can towards Charouse, because they are carrying goods intended for the city and the great celebration of the Emperor's birthday in 2 weeks. It took some time to secure passage. Most of the ships were already fully booked before you finally found this one. Unfortunately, however, it looks like the smooth sailing is going to be, well, it's probably going to be cut short. When you woke up this morning and you walked out on deck, the first thing that you noticed was that the winds were a little bit stronger than they were the day before, and that there were a handful of scattered clouds in the distance. And as the day has worn on, the clouds have become darker and more ominous and more plentiful, and that wind has started to get stronger. Delphina is with you. She's a little seasick. She's not handling the travel as well as you are, but you have a natural inclination towards water that she doesn't, and that frankly she doesn't know about. However, something has been bothering you since you got onto the ship. The whole time you've been on it, and maybe even slightly before it if you think back far enough. There are times where you can swear that you are being watched. But every time you look up and around you, you can't tell who it would be. As far as you can tell, nobody's looking at you any more than they usually do. You're not unused to being stared at, given your looks. But that's the situation you find yourself in as you stand on deck, and the skies get progressively darker. The crew gets a little bit more active, a little bit more lively. There's a tension in the air, both from the approaching storm and the people around you.
Given that there is a storm approaching and Delphina hasn't been handling the travel as well as Viviana has, I think the first thing Viviana does when she wakes up is just go check on Delphina, see how she's doing, see if there's any way she can help to make her more comfortable, because she has done her a great service in agreeing to come with her on this hastily planned journey.
Well, I mean, the good news is that, given how hard it was to book passage, you're in the same cabin. You and Delphina have been, literally side by side almost every moment of every day since leaving Isen. There isn't a whole lot of space to move around on a ship that is packed to the gills with things to be sold during the birthday festivities. As you are standing on deck, she seems a little uneasy, a little queasy, but she's been that way since you left, and there haven't really been any opportunities for that to get better. It doesn't matter how calm the waters are, it's still the sea, so it's still, the ship is still moving unnaturally to somebody who hasn't spent a lot of time on a boat.
Yeah. What Viviana will do is just provide her some small comfort. Place a comforting hand on her shoulder, rub her back a little, not in an overly intimate way, but in a sort of, just in a sort of comforting gesture, and she'll say to her in Vodace, there, darling. I know that this journey has not been the most comfortable for you, and I thank you for accompanying me.
Well, it's not like you have any control over the weather, and it's only going to get worse as she looks up at those clouds that are rolling in.
I think Viviana will also ask, just a bit under her breath, and she'll say, and you'll tell me if you catch any untoward looks, right? From the men on board or from anyone else.
Yes, if I see any. Everyone has been very polite so far.
Viviana nods. She will leave Delphina be for the time being, with a whisper to her to let her know if she needs anything, of course. And then she will head... you said she was already above deck, right?
You guys are already above deck, yeah.
Yeah, she will head towards, like, the side of the ship, sort of peer over it, almost as if she's expecting the water to tell her something. She's not using any of her abilities at the moment, but sometimes she does feel like she can get sort of an indication of what direction things are going to go in from troubled waters. So she just gazes out at the sea, then probably looks up, and do any of the members of can she speak the same language as any of the members of the ship?
The captain and first mate can both speak Vodachan. Looking at your languages, most of them speak Ison. You've caught a couple of like scattered words of like Montaigne and Castilian, but most of them are Ison. Except for, and even the captain and first mate are Ison. They have very thick accents, but they can both speak Vodachan competently enough that you can have a conversation. Before you go to talk to anybody, however, I would like for you to roll me let's do 5 dice, keep 2. I'm not going to tell you what you're rolling for. I just want you to roll it.
Yep. That is a 14. I have 2 drama dice because it's the lowest stat you have, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
I don't know what this roll is, but I'm going to spend 1 drama die.
Okay, roll it. All right. That puts you at 17. You are standing at the edge of the I say at the edge, but at the railing, looking down at the water, and your skin prickles, and you get that chill that races up your spine towards the base of your skull. Your heart kind of hammers a little bit faster in your chest, and that feeling of being watched is ever present. It's intent. There is a tiny part of you that almost feels like you're being stared at by some sort of predator, and it's got you in its gaze.
Does she feel like the gaze is coming from somewhere around her on deck, or like it's coming from the water itself?
You can't tell.
Viviana will... Oh, go ahead.
As that happens, what you don't hear because you're so focused and so caught up in this moment is a very heavily Ison accented voice speaking in Vodace behind you. And And it takes a moment before Delphina's hand kind of is set on your shoulder and gives you a squeeze, kind of a tiny little shake that snaps you out of the moment. And the prickling and the heart pounding are still there, but a lot less pronounced. You're less focused on them. You're not listening to your own heartbeat in your chest anymore. And Delphina kind of looks at you, and she looks a little concerned when you look up at her. The captain says we should get below deck. The storm's going to get worse. And that's around the time that you start to feel the first patters of raindrops falling on you.
Viviana will nod. Yes, we should get below deck. It wouldn't be good to be caught up in the storm. She will take Delphina's hand, again, just a sort of comforting gesture to let her know that she's always near. And as she walks back below deck, she will glance, just try to act casual, but cast a subtle glance around to see if anyone in particular was staring at her. Like, to try to pinpoint where that gaze might have been coming from, if it was coming from someone on the deck.
Okay, give me... Just give me a straight wits roll.
Okay. That is, and my wits is 3. So that would just be 3, keep 3?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't hit a 15. You don't see anybody that's looking at you. They all seem very intent on what they're doing. They're all sort of hurrying around. You hear the captain is shouting in Ison again. He's clearly giving orders to his crew. And you don't see anybody who seems to be paying you any particular amount of attention.
Viviana will, in that case, just continue back below deck with Delphina. And I think she will just make a mental note to perhaps try to more directly pinpoint where. To try again later, essentially, to see if she can pinpoint where that gaze might have been coming from later on.
Okay. Is there anything you want to do in the cabin once you guys get into your cabin? It's relatively small. There's two bunks, and not a whole lot else in there. There's like a tiny little table and then like a trunk with your belongings in it. But that's about it. It's a very small cabin that's really obviously intended for like either, the higher ranking crew members or the occasional important passenger. You get the feeling that the captain probably kicked some of his own crew out of the room to give it to you two, because you're like two of very few women on board.
Yeah, I think that, well, one thing that she does is in the journal that she keeps with her, she just makes a note in sort of a more coded language. She just makes a note of the date and the time of day where she felt this presence watching her, as she has been doing ever since she noticed it, just to try to keep track of it, to see, because this might again help her pinpoint it. She may make some ambient conversation with Delphina as the crew gets ready to brace for the storm.
Okay. You and Delphina settle in for what is likely to be an uncomfortable night. At one point, you get the idea to take the chairs. You notice that the table itself is kind of bolted into the floor and into the wall, so it doesn't go anywhere, but the chairs are freestanding. So you get the idea to like lay the chairs down on their side and tuck the backs of them like underneath of the bunk that you're lying on or that you normally sleep in, which will hopefully keep them from rolling around too much. At least it'll catch them so that they don't go flying against walls and break. As the day progresses, the seas get rougher. Delphina is a hot mess. She can't keep any of the food down that gets brought, and not a whole lot gets brought, mostly just broth and bread. She can't keep anything down, not even water. She's just kind of miserable the whole time, but she doesn't complain too much. She just sort of tries to keep a straight face right before she shoves her face in the bucket again. And eventually you're sure that it has worn on into night. And the seas are incredibly rough. Like, there are moments where you two are just sort of clinging to each other, and there is a little voice in the back of your head that is like, this is it. This is how I die. It's all going to end right here. And in the middle of it, you're hearing lightning and the crack of lightning and the roll of thunder. The cries and shouts of men who are just desperately trying to keep their ship from capsizing or maybe breaking against something out in the waters that they may not necessarily be able to see.
Whenever Delphina goes to throw up, Viviana will be sure to hold her hair up so it doesn't get in her face. She'll bring like a wet cloth to wipe her face afterwards. She'll just make sure to be supportive. If Delphina does manage to settle down for a bit, and there's a moment, like a lull, where perhaps the seasickness isn't as bad and the storm isn't as terrible, she might go, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Would her seasickness, is there an indication that she might be getting dehydrated? Or that this really is something that we just have to let pass?
If you were to get an indication like that, it would take more than just one night for it to show up. I mean, you can assume that she's probably going to end up there eventually if this keeps up for too long. But it's not gonna be an immediately obvious thing.
Okay. She might just keep watch over Delphina, make sure that she doesn't get too far bad. And perhaps I'm thinking of doing a thing.
Okay.
Because I do have I have the ability to create healing bombs, but they're more so to treat, like, obvious wounds. So I don't think they would necessarily help with sickness.
A healing bomb will not help settle someone's upset stomach because of seasickness. It's a good thought. If the seas keep tossing and you guys end up going for a tumble and she cracks her head on something, then absolutely yes, you'll be able to help her. But no, an upset stomach is not something that the healing bomb can help with.
Yes. So, again, just being there for her. She's not going to go above deck, because that seems like she would just be getting in the crew's way and putting her life in danger at that point for no reason.
Yeah, probably. You two, at some point in the middle of all of it, Delphina just sort of, like, you go to get up to, I don't know, like, wet the rag again, and Delphina just sort of, like, white knuckles your hand. Just stay right here. Don't go anywhere. I can't. And then she just sort of gives it that another like low groan of, oh, my stomach. she's making it. She's made it very clear that she gets more comfort out of you physically being there, where she can hold on to you, than the constant back and forth. Because every time you get up to walk away, she watches you like a hawk, like she is expecting you to get thrown off your feet. And as you two sort of sit and cling to each other.
One question.
Yeah?
I did bring my songbird with me. How's Sposa doing?
Sposa's a little unhappy, but they're in their cage, which is hung from a hook in the ceiling. And the cage hasn't fallen or anything. At one point you thought about taking it down, but honestly it seems like it might be better off up there, because at least it just swings there. And if you take it down, it's likely to get dropped and go rolling, so...
Yeah. Viviana will shoot Sposa an apologetic look.
Sposa gives you an alarmed and frankly offended coo. That you get that disapproving bird mom look, yeah.
Yeah. Viviana will stay with Delphina, stay there. She will perhaps begin to do something that she knows at least brings her comfort in times of distress, which is sing under her breath, something soft that her mother would sing to her in childhood. Just a very soft, soothing melody to try to bring some comfort to herself, Delphina, and Sposa as well.
I like it. Roll me panache and singing.
Okay.
DC 15 to do an okay job, and if you want to take raises, it gets better from there.
I will take 2 raises.
So we're going for 25, huh?
Yeah, why not?
Let's do it. Well, that's a 40, so pretty good. So you manage to calm yourself down a fair bit, and your singing ends up being so soothing that eventually you are relatively certain that you could probably get Delphina to fall asleep, which from what you have found during this whole trip is kind of the only time her stomach ever seems to settle, is when she's not like conscious.
Mm-hmm. She will definitely attempt to get Delphina to fall asleep.
As you are singing and kind of clinging to each other, and kind of huddled up on like the bottom bunk of this bed, the bottom bunk, together, in the middle of it, your song is interrupted for just for a few moments by an incredibly loud crack. And you wonder for a moment if that's just another bolt of lightning, or if perhaps the entire ship is being pulled apart by the angry seas. And your arms go a little bit tighter around her, and she asks you not to stop singing. And you can tell by the look on her face that she's got the same worry.
Viviana will sing louder at this point, trying to make her voice just sort of like a dominant force in the room. It already was, but now she's no longer softly singing. Now she's actively trying to be a distraction from the noises above deck.
Okay. You don't know how long the storm lasts, or how long you sang before exhaustion and a sore throat and the fact that Delphina had fallen asleep, probably an hour at least before you finally fell asleep. But you do eventually drift off. And when you wake in the morning, it is sudden, and you're not entirely sure what woke you, because when you kind of come to, you realize that the not only are you alive, but the ship isn't tossing and turning the way that it was. Delphina is still asleep. She looks a little pale from the night's seasickness, but she is breathing evenly. Sposa has her head kind of tucked under her wing and is giving those little like half sleepy coos that birds do. Well, she is obviously trying to rest herself, but you can hear hurried footsteps and cries of alarm coming from the ship's deck above you.
Considering that it no longer seems as though the sea is threatening to pull the ship apart, and Delphina is asleep, Viviana will leave her to sleep. She will plant a soft kiss on her forehead, and then get out of the bunk. She will go up to Sposa, reach through the bars of the cage, gently run her finger down the bird's back in a soothing gesture, and then head above deck, because that does sound concerning.
When you come out on deck, you are confronted by a handful of things that you realize that you're forced to take in like within the first second. The first is that the main mast of the ship has been snapped a few feet above the deck itself. Apparently the storm was so intense that either it got hit by something, maybe lightning, or just the wind was so intense and the perhaps the sail got caught in a gale, but it snapped the mast right in two, and you're not sure where the top half of it is. The second thing that you realize is that you don't think you've ever seen this many people out on deck. This seems like an all hands on deck situation, and they are running around kind of wildly. There's a lot of shouting and icing. The captain is shouting orders. The first mate and the bosun are trying to kind of bring order to the situation. And the third thing that you realize is that there is another ship on the horizon with its sails out in full, and above them is flying a black flag.
Viviana will take a moment to mutter under her breath, "Well, shit." And I think the first thing she does is just look around the crew, perhaps identify if anyone's hurt, see what state the crew is in. They're already in a bad state, but just see how bad it is.
There are a couple people who look like they may have taken some bumps and bruises the night before. No one is like dying. Nobody's on death's door, but there are a few people who look a little worse for wear. Everybody looks really tired and haggard is the biggest thing.
Okay. Viviana is going to head back below deck, at least for the time being. She's going to debate whether or not she should wake Delphina. She's going to leave her asleep for the time being, just because she could use time to recover. And then, does anything happen as Viviana goes back below deck to begin potentially preparing something?
I mean, you don't stay above deck to know, so you have no idea what's going on above deck as you go downstairs.
That's true. I think one thing that she might do is perhaps prepare some fumes of slumber, just in case. She's also going to check the throwing knives she brought to make sure that they're still there.
Okay. As you are rustling through your room and trying to make sure that you have everything that you need, and to prepare yourself for whatever it is that might be coming, Delphina wakes up. What's happening? What is all that noise?
Well, do you want the bad news or the worst news first?
The bad news?
The ship's mast has snapped in half.
Oh. And the worst news?
There is a ship with a black flag coming.
Oh. What do we do?
Well, I am going to see if there are some things that I can prepare just in case that ship happens to be particularly unfriendly. But I would recommend that we try to avoid confrontation if possible. But as I said, I will prepare some things in case confrontation becomes inevitable.
Are you sure that fighting back is a good idea?
Only if worst comes to worst. I'm not saying we should go out with violence. We should make violence our first means of operation. I'm just saying that we should be prepared for it to happen.
She sort of gives an unsteady little nod. Very well. Do we stay here?
You stay here.
Where you go, I go. She is like wrestling her skirts out of the ways that she can get out of the bed.
Delphina, please, you must rest.
Don't talk to me like you are my mother to take care of me. I fled Vodace with you. I fled Ison with you. Where you go, I go.
Very well. Viviana sort of knows that when Delphina gets like this, there's no real convincing her otherwise.
Absolutely.
So she is just going to... she's just going to look at Delphina and say, "Do you have knives with you?"
Always.
Okay, good. She will make sure that her knives are there. She will go about preparing fumes of slumber just in case, because it can be useful. It might help.
Okay, that's gonna take some time. So while you are working on that, you hear a cry in Ison, and then a lot more feet above deck. And you actually at one point hear a rather heavy thud, and it takes a moment before it clicks for you that what you are hearing is the sides of two ships kind of bumping together. And Delphina kind of looks up at the ceiling of the cabin, and a few moments, and you hear a shout in Montaigne, in a woman's voice. Take whatever you can find and leave the crew with their lives unless they fight. I don't want any more bloodshed than is necessary. And then there is more footsteps, except that they're spreading out in different directions, and you can tell that some of them are coming down the stairs leading down into the level of the ship that you were in.
Viviana will, I think, look to Delphina, and then motion for her to just be ready in case whoever's coming downstairs does not respect the words of their captain and decides that bloodshed is what they want. And she is going to just... is there any way... This cabin's pretty small, so there's probably not anywhere to hide.
There's nowhere to hide, no.
Yeah, she's just going to sit on the bed and look casual. Like, casually going about, just like flipping through her journal, just acting as though the ship has not just been boarded.
This is all totally normal.
This is normal. Hey, I'm from Vodace. I've seen worse.
Delphina kind of takes your lead and pulls those two chairs out from under the bed, and sets them upright and sits herself down in one of them and tries to look casual, but is not doing as good of a job as you are. Eventually, your door opens. There's no knock, no circumstance. It just pushed open. And you see a young woman standing there. She's got skin that looks like it was probably pretty pale for a long time, but has been kind of burnt and freckled and burnt and freckled and burnt and freckled for long enough because she's been at sea, that it's hard to tell exactly what her natural skin tone is because of all of the freckles. And she's got this kind of wild frizzy blonde hair. And she kind of looks at the two of you and goes, "Huh, well, I wasn't expecting that. Well, come on. The captain will want to meet you."
Viviana will, spare her a glance looking up from her book and say, she says in Montaigne, it is considered proper etiquette to knock.
Yes, well, it's also considered proper etiquette to not get on someone else's ship, but fuck all if I care. Now, come on, let's go.
Viviana will stand up, sort of take a moment longer than necessary to straighten out her hair, straighten out her clothes, maybe pull out her small mirror and check her face. And then she will follow the woman's lead.
You and Delphina are led up above deck by the young woman who and you realize as you walk out onto the deck that there are a lot more. Number one, there's a lot more people on deck now. The merchant ship's crew are, for the most part, either standing or kneeling, and being kind of patrolled by a couple of what are obviously like pirates. They're in like mismatched clothing. They look like they spend a lot of time outside. They're not in any sort of like particular uniform, and they're sort of patrolling with pistols and muskets. And they all have blades at their hips, but that's what they're using to keep the merchant crew from getting any ideas about trying to fight back. Just roll me wits. You notice as you step out into the sunlight that the crew of this pirate ship, it looks like it's damn near evenly split between men and women. And it only takes you a second to identify who is obviously the captain. There is a woman who looks a few years older than you, maybe mid to late 20s, with long, curly, thick black hair. Her skin is tanner than you would expect her face to be based on like its bone structure. She has a very kind of delicately structured face that you would expect to see at like a noble party, but she is tanned like she spends a lot of time in the sun. She's got very full lips and a beauty mark. And she kind of looks you and Delphina over, and then looks at her crew as more and more people come out up on deck with carrying crates and boxes and barrels of all sorts of things. All right, take the spoils below deck. Bring the women. And she walks and goes back onto her ship as a couple of the pirates kind of fall in on either side of you and Delphina and nudge you towards what you realize is like a gangplank that's been set down between the two ships to allow people to walk back and forth.
Viviana will follow. She sees no reason to fight. They're not being violent with the crew. This isn't a massacre, so she will go.
As you go, Delphina kind of falls in behind you. She's obviously nervous, but unwilling to fight back if you're not fighting back. Once you get to the other side of the ship, a kind of glance backwards shows that that they have gone below deck and fetched your things from the room that they took you from.
I have a question.
Yes.
Is there any chance that Viviana recognizes, like, the ship
No.
or the captain's description? Okay.
No.
Mm-hmm.
You do know from having looked at the side of the ship, though, that you are aboard a ship called the Wayward Dove.
Pretty name.
Indeed. Or, I'm sorry, not Wayward Dove, Wayward Swan. You are, for a little while, you're just kind of put into you're taken into the captain's quarters and told to sit, and one of the pirates kind of keeps an eye on you to make sure that you're not, like, trying to steal anything or whatever. And you can hear outside that they are finishing gathering all of the things from the Seagull and eventually pushing off away from it and setting sail again. The captain is shouting orders, giving headings. And eventually, after about an hour and a half, the door to the cabin opens, and she walks in and kind of gestures back at the door with her head. And the pirate nods and goes to leave, and then she goes, "Wait." And she looks at Delphina and then glances at you. "Take that one to the room. I have to talk to this one. She's in charge." And the pirate looks a little confused because how the fuck would she know who's in charge, but shrugs and decides that it's best not to argue with the captain. And Delphina kind of looks at you like she doesn't want to go.
Viviana gives her just like a very calm look. Like at this point in time, there is no reason to fight. Let's just let it happen.
Delphina kind of gives an unsteady little nod, and
I will say, Delphina can probably tell that Viviana herself is a bit nervous, but she's keeping a calm facade, and she's not trying to escalate.
Yeah. Delphina just sort of gives an uncertain nod, but looks like she has chosen to trust in your judgment, and that you get them for this, as you have gotten them out of so many things before. Walks out following the pirate. The captain, meanwhile, walks around to her side of the large desk in her office, or in her cabin. This cabin is not overly lush, but still far more opulent than the ship that you were on, or than anything that you could imagine being on the ship that you were on. Her cabin is decorated from wall to wall with what look like trinkets that might have been taken from any number of places in Thay. You see fabrics that look like they may have come from the Crescent Empire, and you see little like statuettes that may have been carved in Ison. There's all sorts of interesting knickknacks and doodads everywhere. And she kind of walks and sinks into this chair, and leans back and kind of looks at you for a moment. What is your name?
Francesca Lombardi.
Do not lie to me, Francesca Lombardi. Not Francesca Lombardi. What is your name?
Viviana will sigh, and she will say, Viviana Lucani, do you plan to ransom me?
No, I have better uses for you than that. And she tugs off the gloves that she is wearing. Make me another wits roll.
Yes.
She tugs off her gloves, and the first thing, and almost on instinct, your eyes go to her ring fingers, and you see the marking on her hand. That signifies her as one of Sophia's daughters.
Viviana more immediately, like the tension in her shoulders that she herself may not have realized was there, just sort of relaxes a bit. And she says, oh, I see.
You will have to forgive me, sister, for the unorthodox method of meeting. I was watching you for days to make sure that you made it to where you were supposed to go, and then that storm hit. I did what I had to do.
Well, you are the one who have been watching me. Oh.
I watch everyone on these waters.
That explains quite a lot. Oh, sister, you have need of me?
Well, I have a job for you. It's not for me, but the person I was going to send is not going to make it on time, I worry. So I send you first, and she will catch up if she is able.
Okay. What is the job?
She kind of leans back and she fixes you with a look. Do you know who I am?
I know you are one of Sophia's daughters.
Yes. My name is Isabella de Montaigne.
Viviana, visibly just it's like a shockwave passes through her body. And, she stares at her and, blinks and, she squints her eyes a bit as though she's trying to see it. As though, the fact that she is Isabella de Montaigne will suddenly, become more apparent. And she opens her mouth, closes it, and then opens her mouth again and says, well, I knew the order's reach spread far, but not quite that far.
And that is by design. But I have an unusual and extreme request, so you should know from whom it is coming so that you take it seriously.
Of course. It is rather funny. I came on this little venture hoping to escape my responsibilities for a time, and of course it seems they have found me again.
Ah, little sister, they will always find you, no matter where you go. Everywhere the water is, there are responsibilities.
Yes, well, I had best accept them graciously.
That would be wise. Now, for the task. As I said, this was originally given to another sister, but she's been delayed. In the meantime, I send you in her place. Viviana Lucani, I need you to kidnap the Imperatrix of Montaigne.
I'm sorry, you need me to what?
Well, kidnap might be a strong word. She wants to leave, but everyone will say you kidnapped her.
Okay. Well, I suppose that is slightly better than outright kidnapping.
Well, not in the eyes of the law, but, you do your job right, they won't find you. They won't know it was you anyway.
True. May I ask why you need me to kidnap her? Kidnap in quotations?
Because the information we have received says that she believes her husband is going to kill her. That she has seen, what did she call it? The black thread?
Ah, the black thread.
We know that this will take time. We do not think it is going to happen immediately. It will take time for you to get close enough. But as you are the first sister I have seen, that I can afford to put on such a task because you are not known in Montaigne, it falls to you.
Well, then, I suppose I shall have to start building connections in Montaigne.
Yes. The only other help I can give you is the name of the location of one of our safe houses and the name of the woman who keeps it, who's also a daughter.
Well, that is better than nothing. That is a place to start.
Her name is Madame du Chatelaine, and she has a chateau in Charouse.
Madame du Chatelaine.
She is not nobility. She is a merchant, but it is better than nothing.
Yes, better than nothing.
And if the sister that was originally given this task is able to catch up, she will find you. I won't give you her name. She will find you herself.
Understood.
The girl that is with you.
Yes.
She's not one of us.
No, not yet, anyway.
Kind of fixes you with a look. Does she have the gift?
Not to my knowledge. I believe if she had the gift, it may have made itself more apparent during our travels over the water.
Would have made itself apparent a long time ago, I think. She's too old to have it manifest now.
Well, she is very dear to me.
Then you should think about sending her away.
Yes, I began thinking about that quite some time ago. She has endured much on this journey to be with me, but I think she should endure no more.
If you take her to Charouse with you, she is likely to die.
Yes. I must send her away. And Viviana does look a bit sad at that, but she quickly steels herself. In reality, she knew it was a bad idea to take Delphina with her.
Is there any reason why she should not go back to Vodace?
No, well, no reason other than we will have to send her back kicking and screaming, I think.
She has no secrets there that could get her into trouble?
Everyone in Vodace has secrets that could get them into trouble.
Yes, I mean secrets that other people know.
One that may prove perhaps a bit... Well, since I will not be going back with her, it may not make itself very evident.
She kind of arches a brow. Speak plainly.
There is a man who is quite fond of her, who knows about the nature of our relationship. He would cause trouble if we returned together, but if she goes back alone and knows to keep a low profile, well, as low as possible in Vodace, then perhaps he will have no need of revealing that.
Her eyes kind of narrow a little bit. You think she will be unhappy if she goes back?
Oh, she will definitely be unhappy if she goes back without me. But unhappy is better than dead.
There's nothing saying she has to go back to Vodace. I am willing to take her there, but if there are other options, there are other options.
I would have to talk to her to see if there is a place she would rather return to. But
we have friends in Avalon that might be willing to take her in. And Vodace courtesan there would be an exotic luxury to many in Queen Elaine's court.
Yes, but as I
comfortable living for herself.
Yes, but as I said, I will have to see what she wants.
Of course. Well, go on then.
Thank you, sister. Though our meeting was unorthodox, and this is quite the mission you have given me, it is always good to meet one of the daughters.
She kind of nods a little bit as she tugs her gloves on. I am just captain outside of these walls, you understand?
Of course, Captain.
She goes to open the door and looks over at a kind of squirrely, wiry looking man nearby. Rat, show her to her room. And he his head snaps up and he looks over. Yes, Captain. Then hurries over and leads you down and beneath deck. A glance around can show that they have their sails out in full, and the seagull is just a dot on the horizon.
Okay.
You are shown below deck into another kind of cramped cabin. There's only one bed in here, and when the door opens, Delphina is pacing. Your bird is there on a table, and your trunk has been kind of like upended onto one side and stashed in a corner because it's the only way it would fit. And when Delphina sees you, her eyes go wide, and as soon as the door is shut, she kind of throws herself into your arms. I was so scared. You are all right?
Yes, it was fine. She just wanted to talk to gain our measure, I think. Know exactly what kind of women she was dealing with.
The kind who don't appreciate being kidnapped by pirates.
Yes.
They're going to ransom us?
No, I don't think that is what will be happening.
Are you sure?
And I'm very sure, trust me. We will not be ransomed.
Well, then what happens now? Are we to be taken and sold at market somewhere?
No. What happens now is that I will be going to Montana as planned, and you will be heading home.
What?
There are things that I have learned of, things that I must take care of. This is no longer an escape from the great game. And I fear that if I were to involve you, you would be in grave danger.
What are you talking about?
Delphina, I need you to trust me. It is better if you go home.
I don't want to go home. I've done nothing but trust you. You keep asking me to trust you, but you don't ever tell me anything.
I tell you plenty, just there are certain things I cannot tell you because I must keep you safe.
I don't want to go back to Vodace.
Well, you don't have to go back to Vodace. You can go somewhere else.
With you?
Not with me.
Then where do you want me to go?
You could go to Avalon. A Vodace courtesan in Avalon could make a very nice life for herself.
If I go to Avalon... I suppose I... You're sure I can't come with you?
I'm very sure. Trust me, I would bring you with me if I didn't think that it would put you in danger. I need you to be safe, Delphina.
You will keep in touch?
I will write whenever possible.
And I will see you again.
Yes, you will.
You promise?
I swear it.
She looks conflicted. Like she doesn't want to agree. Make me a... Let's go wits and oratory. And
Okay.
yes, you can add your beauty bonus.
Yay! Points for being hot.
Pretty privilege.
That's 2 plus... did you say panache or wits?
Wits.
Okay.
All right. She settles after a time. It takes a lot of cajoling. There are a lot of tears, and she kind of vacillates between crying and like yelling at you and begging you not to make her go, but then turning around and demanding that you leave her alone, and then begging you not to go again. There's a lot of big big conflicted feelings. And eventually, the two of you kind of settle.
Delphina.
Yes?
You know I love you, right?
I love you too. That is why I cannot figure out why you will send me away. Why you won't tell me what is going on.
I am sorry that I cannot be more honest with you, but I can't be.
Fine. I will go to Avalon, and I will wait. But if you don't write, I'm coming to find you. And I will, you know I can.
I know you will, and I will write, I promise.
You better. And there's a lot of back to vacillating between crying and being mad, and crying and being mad, and eventually she sort of cries herself out and falls back asleep because she did not sleep well the night before.
Viviana will sort of stroke her hair as she falls asleep, humming a bit to sort of aid in her falling asleep. And then she will go take Sposa out of her cage, just for a little bit, letting the bird, sort of ride on her finger for a bit and stroking her feathers. I am so sorry I have had to keep you locked up for all this time on a ship. I know it is not your preference.
Sposa gives a little coo and leans in to nuzzle your cheek. And we are gonna leave your scene there with Isabelle de Montaigne, captain of the Wayward Swan, eventually getting you to a point where there's almost land in sight. They've put up a different flag altogether. It's the middle of the night. You are spirited onto a smuggler's boat, a little dinghy that takes you toward the shore, where you are eventually put into a carriage, and you and Sposa and your belongings make your way to Charouse and to the Chateau Chatelaine. Thank you for listening to Opus Dei Requiem. If you enjoy this story, please make sure to subscribe and review wherever you're listening to our podcast. You can find more of our actual plays on our website at www.hallowedhavenstudios.com. Please consider supporting us on Patreon at patreon.com/hallowedhavenstudios. Your help makes more stories like this possible. Alonso, you are on the last leg of your journey to Charouse. The last town that you stayed in really could barely be called a village, let alone a town. But there were merchants passing through on their way, carrying goods to be sold and peddled during the festivities for the Emperor's birthday. In 2 weeks' time, in a fortnight, you manage to negotiate with one of them. He's a coppersmith. You manage to negotiate with him. He will allow you to ride on the back of his carriage, assuming that with the condition that you will protect his goods in the event that any wayward vagabonds try to set upon him and steal his wares.
A reasonable arrangement.
As it turns out, though, this is a very well-traveled road, and so there really isn't a whole lot of activity for you. There's a lot of carts on their way, wagons, carts, the occasional just like lone rider, and you are almost never alone on the stretch of road that you're on for more than half an hour to 45 minutes before you see another traveler. It seems almost that half the country is on their way to Charouse for this celebration. When you get your first look at the city, you realize that this is one of the most staggeringly large cities you've ever seen. And as you get into the city proper and you are on the main thoroughfares, you realize that it is possibly the most beautiful city you've ever seen. Everything looks to have been meticulously planned. There are perfectly clean, manicured lawns on either side of the cobblestone roads. The roads themselves look like they are swept regularly. The buildings are made of bright stone, and have grand edifices. It is like being from Castile and seeing some of the things that you've seen beautiful things before, but this is the kind of place that just feels immense and kind of takes your breath away.
Fantastic. Strange. Undeniably beautiful.
You can't really your mind kind of boggles at the thought of trying to put a number to how much this city must have cost to create or to build. And as you get into the city proper and you begin to see that there are musketeers patrolling, and a lot more people, there's just this press of bodies, people going about their business. In the
presence of musketeers, I keep the brim of my hat low.
Okay. The merchant kind of pulls the cart to a stop and turns to look back at you where you're sitting on like the back of the cart. Well, this is it, stranger.
I thank you. I'm glad we were able to get here without any complication.
Yes, as am I. If you are looking for an affordable place to stay?
Indeed.
You go down that street there and take the third left. Look for Le Flèche et Plongeon. Do you speak Montaigne?
I do.
That translates to the arrow and the loon. It is mostly known to locals, so you're not likely to see the crazy rates these other places will charge you with the birthday around the corner.
You have my thanks, sir. And I hope that the business goes well for you. Gesture to the goods.
And he kind of looks at them and gives a little nod. So do I. You enjoy your time in Charouse.
Half bow, and I will head out. I do have a question.
Yes.
Of the many carts that rode parallel to us, passed or we passed, How many were bringing food?
A fair few, you think. You didn't get a good look at all of them. You do know that there were some that were bringing food, though.
Okay. I will follow the good man's directions and head off into the city.
When you turn off of the main thoroughfares and go down the side streets that he pointed you towards, what you realize is that all of that open grandness, those perfectly clean buildings and the well-kept streets and lawns, give way to much more cramped surroundings. There is a press of humanity around you on the streets where you suspect the common rabble tend to go. And the further in you get, the more dense things are, the darker things are, the more the buildings seem less tall and grand and more looming over you because they've been built too close together.
The true face of Montaigne. Beautiful mask on top of a face of suffering.
You smell, you smell like piss in the streets outside of taverns and things like that. It is not nearly as well kept here. But eventually you find your way to a inn and tavern that has a sign hanging over it, where an arrow is passing through some sort of odd-looking bird. And the sign reads in Montaigne, "The Arrow and the Loon." It's a 3-story building. And there is already the bustle of a lot of people in the downstairs.
Takes a deep breath and steels himself. All right. And I will go in and just try to shoulder my way past people, keep a firm hand on my backpack as I go for the counter and rental of a room.
All right. Behind the counter is a older woman who looks to be in her late 40s, early 50s. She's got a little bit of gray at her temples. She looks not thin, but like somebody who was overweight and has lost a lot of weight recently. So she's got a lot of like loose skin, and looks a little unhealthy. And more than a little stressed out as she wipes her hands on her apron and turns to look at you. What do you need?
I'm going to try and hide my Castilian accent and simply say, good morning. I need a room for, let's start with a week and see how it goes.
Just a week? You know, if you only take a week, you might not have a room when the celebrations come.
Then let us make it 2.5.
That sounds like it would be a good idea for you. And she quotes you a room. I, at the moment, don't have the room rates on me, so we'll figure those out after session.
Alonso reaches into his pouch full of coins, pulls out all but the smallest one, and hands them to her.
Are you overpaying, on purpose? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying Alonso is not doing well in the cash department.
Okay. She takes it and counts it for a moment. One of them, she kind of gives it a dubious look and bites it with her teeth before shrugging and pocketing the coin, and turns to grab a key and hands it over to you. 3rd floor, first on the left.
Thank you. And I will head up to the room. As I'm heading up these stairs, Is there anyone interesting in here? Is there anyone strange down here on the first floor?
Well, you look around. Interesting is an interesting choice of words. Pun intended. It's not so much that any of these people look on their face to be interesting, but after a moment of kind of looking around and kind of like tilting your head to try and catch some of the conversation, you realize that at least a couple of people are gathered around a table and are having a kind of like whisper shout match about the extravagance and expense of the celebrations that are coming up, and the fact that there's a war on and people are starving, but the emperor is still throwing these massive parties and shutting down half of the city to do it. And this is stuff that they clearly don't want overheard, but one guy is clearly a little bit in his cups even this early in the day, and has some feelings about it, and the other guys are trying to calm him down and get him to be quiet, because if they get overheard by the wrong people, it could be a problem for them.
Mm-hmm. Well, interesting. I am instead going to tuck this key into my pouch and join their table if I can.
What do you say as you walk up to this table?
Good morning, friends. May I join you?
They kind of all go a little quiet, and the guy who was trying to calm down the one that was angry kind of looks at you and gives you kind of like a side-eye look. There are empty tables. Why do you want to sit with us, stranger?
I have been, and here I'll let my native accent slip out a little bit. I have been journeying through your lands for the past week. I have seen people who may have been healthy and well-fed once, now on the edge of their abilities. Seems our own barmaid even, perhaps disadvantaged of late.
The guy who is clearly drunk, like, immediately opens his mouth to say something, and one of the other ones kind of punches him in the arm.
Now, none of that. Open communication is crucial to success.
The guy who has been kind of wary the whole time kind of reaches out and kind of tugs on your sleeve so that you're down a little bit closer to their level.
Mm-hmm.
Discretion is what keeps you alive in Charouse, friend.
I will sit. Then in shadows we may be.
What do you care for the people of Montaigne? You're not from here?
He just shrugs. The world is an interesting place. One must study all facets that one can if one is to better understand it. Put down my bag as like a I'm not leaving right away.
And where do you stand on the state of everything and this upcoming party, huh?
strokes his chin for a moment. I have, well, on the one hand, obviously curious. But I've seen two sides of Montaigne so far. Expect this party will be a third.
They all kind of settle after a few moments. And it doesn't take long before the man across the table leans in and begins to once again kind of drunkenly talk about just the state of things. The fact that here in Charouse they have some food. They have food, but most of it goes to the richest. And the best pickings always go to the richest. And he has no idea how this celebration is supposed to happen without people without people ending up starving afterwards. There's just so much money going into this, and there's so many people coming in from out of the country and out of the city. How are they supposed to continue to feed themselves if all the food goes into the celebrations? And his friends occasionally kind of hush him and try to not stop him from talking, but try to get him to be quieter, because they're constantly looking up around the room to try and make sure that nobody who shouldn't be hearing this is.
Alonso is listening to this, just sort of picking out the pieces of information aside from this guy's clearly angry about it, but what does he actually know? And then making a self-deprecating joke. He's like, all these tourists coming. I'm like, yes, I am part of the problem.
Roll me wits and politics. DC 15. I just want to see how much you can kind of get from all of the drunken rambling. This is more about what you can piece together, because there are times where he's just angry and not making a lot of sense, and other times where there might be stuff in there worth understanding.
Cool. You said 15?
Yes.
I will take a raise.
Okay. Raise might get you more information.
24.
Good. Roll me 2 more d10s.
Mm-hmm. Should have taken more raises. $33.
All right. Interesting. The first thing you get is that this is a growing sentiment among the population, especially the poorer population. Mm-hmm. You also get that the musketeers do what they can for the little folk. Some of them go so far as to try to make sure that they get more food, from giving food from their own tables when they can without getting caught. But it's kind of like social suicide for anybody who's not in the lower strata to acknowledge the suffering of the little people kind of thing. So they do what they can, but they're also, kind of playing with fire. Perhaps, though, the most interesting thing that you learn is that in a few days there is a meeting that is going to be held at a chateau on the outer bands of the city. That apparently this it's like a philosophy conversation group, but there has been rumblings of revolution among these people. They get together, they share ideas, and it is being held at the Chateau du Chatelaine. And that the woman of the house is probably one of their most spirited and well-educated members. And that they're all very much looking forward to going and getting to participate again.
And how does one land an invitation to such an event?
That is not something that is obviously apparent. with only 20.
Fair enough.
You could try to coax more information out of them.
Yeah, we're doing all right. They seem like a pleasant lot.
How would you like to go about that?
Yeah, this event, this meeting of minds, this is very good. This is a little unexpected, but good. I assume there will be many educated individuals. I would be interested to hear their opinions. Does one simply attend, or open forum? Is that the word?
No, you have to be brought along by somebody who knows somebody.
And tell me, my fine friends, who knows somebody? And at this point, I'm leaning in conspiratorially. A dark stranger from out of town asking questions about revolution, and these guys are a little drunk. We are in a storybook.
Amazing. Okay. Yeah. It takes a little bit of finesse and a little bit of like pushing just the right revolutionary buttons. And honestly, the fact that you are young, and have that kind of like passionate, bright-eyed spirit to you, is enough to get them a little bit more riled up and a little bit more at ease with you. The one who is drunk kind of claps a hand on your shoulder. My Castilian friend, we will take you. You must go with us. It's the last party until after the Emperor's celebrations, so you will come. You will meet the Madame. I will introduce you.
Excellent.
I'm sorry, what is your name?
Alonso Hernandez.
Well, Alonso Hernandez, it is nice to meet you. I am Matthias.
Give him a hearty handshake.
And he shakes your hand back, and the hearty handshake is kind of, with him being drunk, nearly topples him off of his stool before one of his friends kind of grabs him and hauls him back up onto it. And the weary friend goes, "Look, I am happy to have another voice in the revolution, but you have got to be quiet about this. This is the sort of thing that could get us killed."
At ease, my friend. I am a Castilian in the heart of Montaigne. Discretion is my middle name.
He kind of gives you a look like he's not entirely sure he believes you.
I've also
Because
got a
you are
shading
just-
grin, so...
You are just the random dude who came and sat at their table uninvited, so... But he just sort of sighs and gives a little shrug.
Make a mental note that he's the sensible one.
Do you have a room already?
I do, yes. Paid through the celebration.
Excellent. Then we will come and find you here, huh? When it is time to go.
Indeed, I look forward to it.
And they each kind of shake your hand, and one of them kind of looks outside, up at the sky. Shit, I'm late. I've got to go. And Matthias like pushes himself to his feet, like he looks like he's gonna try and follow, and then immediately regrets it and sits back down.
I'll get him some water, and I feel like we've done this. This has been great. I need some money. Do I think these guys can find me a temporary job or something while I wait for this event?
Thinking.
Because otherwise I'm hunting pigeons for dinner.
One of them tells you that there are always, around big events like what's happening, there are always merchants who are looking for bodyguards. And always people in from out of town who may need help from such things. But aside from that, you're unlikely to find any true, like, job, like work.
For sure. No, bodyguard is what I was thinking.
He doesn't know of anyone personally, but he said that there's always merchants coming in from out of town, and if you can find one who doesn't have one of those big Ison bastards to guard him, that might be someone to ask.
Most grateful, Matthias. Here's your water.
Matthias takes the water, kind of makes a face, but sips at it. I'm assuming you're gonna go up and put your stuff in your room?
Yeah.
As the others kind of break up and go off to their various jobs and things?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What are you going to do once you get settled? Are you gonna rest for a bit before you go out, or are you just gonna go out immediately?
Alonso enters this room, This is a local place. Are we talking sparse, homey, attempting to be decadent?
Sparse. This is one of those places where, it's feels homey, but is clearly not like in amazing shape financially. Like, it's obvious that they're trying to make it comfortable.
Mm-hmm. The quilt is pretty, but threadbare.
Yes.
All right. Alonso takes a minute, sits on the bed, puts his hat beside him. This is a strange feeling. Place is so... It's bigger than I expected.
I'm gonna give you a drama die because I want you to delve into that monologue a little bit more.
Okay. Alonso thinks back to first to the family estate, which is almost a town in of itself, but far nicer than the towns he's passed on his way to the city. He's like, that's like a block here. It was the density, the sheer number of people, and the conditions. At least in Castile, I know that every man on the street can have food in his hand, or an education. These people, these aristocrats, they cannot care. They cannot take care of their people. It is cruelty indeed. Perhaps this is where this darkness comes from. The cruelty bred of of system and malice and rot. Montaigne, I believe you are rotten. But if there is a rot, perhaps there is one good apple left. If I can find them, who knows what will happen?
Excellent.
Yeah.
All right. You've had time to settle in, get your bearings a little bit.
Pray.
And pray. Yes, sorry. Pray.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything in particular you would like to do?
I think the cap returns a level of anonymity that is just like as good as armor to him. This is all enemy territory to an extent. And sure, those guys were fine, but there's musketeers everywhere. There's problems. So we're playing it safe. Keep a low profile.
Okay.
That is until I can find this work. So, in a meandering way, following whichever way his feet deem appropriate, he's going to head back towards like the entrance gates to the city and post up looking for merchants who could afford the services of a licensed member of the Swordsman's Guild.
Okay. Rather than posting up at the gates, your friends would have suggested that you head for the markets.
Cool.
And the kind of slightly wealthier parts of the city, the kind of like upper middle class parts, are probably where you are most likely to find the types of people who can afford you.
Perfect.
Headed there, this place is, I mean, it's busy. With everything going on, there's kind of people kind of bustling to and fro. There's this air of kind of frantic but excited energy around you. There's a lot of money changing hands when and where you can see it. What look like servants of some of the major households, or they go into shops, they walk out with bundles in their arms. Occasionally you'll see a upper middle class to even wealthier people kind of walking along the thoroughfares, kind of ducking into shops to speak with seamstresses and tailors and everyone from that to bakers. And then eventually you get to the end of it and out into the square that is this kind of like open air space, and there's lots and lots of merchants' carts and stalls set up. And you can see people who have like the kind of trademark dark skin of people who come from the Crescent Empire, to people who are paler and have a kind of wild red hair that you would expect to see coming from like Avalon, and even people who are tall and fair-skinned and with long blonde hair that you would kind of expect probably would be a Vendel. Vendel.
Yeah. I will. I think I'm going to talk to the Vendel first, if I get to try and pick my clients.
Okay. He is standing there talking to a number of other people. All of them have that kind of trademark Vendel look. Fair skin, usually blonde or dark hair, light eyes, and they are talking in their native tongue, and look like they are arguing good-naturedly about something, but it's hard to tell what. And they are the booth is only half set up, but from what you could see, it looks like they have pieces of leather work, like exquisite, fine leather work.
In Montaigne, I will compliment their works. Excuse me, this is incredible.
The man turns and is seeing a potential customer. His face lights up. Ah, yes, thank you. We take great pride in our craft. Do you want to buy something? We're not technically not open, but for a good customer, we are always willing to make a deal.
I would love to be a good customer, but it is actually I who am selling something now. And I throw half of my poncho over my shoulder to reveal the Soldano blade at my side. I understand there's a crime problem around this area, and I'm here to prevent it for a reasonable fee.
Is your Swordsman's Guild pin showing?
Yeah.
Okay. Give me panache and oratory.
Delightful.
This is a DC 20 for every raise that you take. He might offer you more money.
Panache, you say?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. And I have 1 point of drama left.
I just gave you 1, so you should be at 2.
Ah, excellent.
Oh no, wait. How many did you spend?
I spent 2.
And you started with 2.
Indeed. And then you gave me 1, so I have the 1.
Yeah, you have 1 left. I'm sorry. My bad.
In that case, I shall make a single raise.
All right, so we're going for a 25.
I get it. And I get to reroll 2.
Gee, how?
Yeah, 33.
Okay. Jesus Christ. All right, cool. He kind of looks you over, and there's a moment where he looks a little like he's like ready to just sort of wave you off and insist that they don't need any help, and a younger woman kind of comes up behind him and very lightly kind of smacks him on the bicep and says something in their native tongue, and he kind of answers back, and they go back and forth a little bit, and eventually she switches to Montaigne and kind of gestures at you. He obviously needs the work, and we could use an extra set of eyes. I can't always be here to watch over you. At some point, I have to sleep. And the man kind of tisks and hems and haws again, and she just sort of rolls her eyes and looks at you and goes, "You're hired."
Gracias. Whatever would you like me to help set up, or just keep an eye out?
Could always use an extra set of hands, and I'm not sure that we really need protection. And he sort of glares at the woman, but she just sort of, waves him off and disappears back behind the booth, and you could hear her moving around. It sounds like she's probably pulling out stuff. To is there any anything you want to do, like talking with them or whatever, or are you just gonna set yourself up as like their guard until the celebrations and potentially beyond?
Yeah, I'm just gonna hang out, chat and get to know them a little bit. But for the most part, I've got 3 days until this chateau party.
Okay. Cool. You learn over time that they are a family business. His name is Arvid.
Arvid.
And the woman's name is Åsa.
Arvid and Åsa. They are friends, couple, business partners.
She would prefer that they be business partners, but you learn after a time that they are married.
Hang on.
Yes.
They're married and she's not into it?
Yeah, pretty much. She doesn't dislike him, but she seems much more interested in the family business than in her husband.
Interesting. Okay.
You don't get the feeling that she's like in it unwillingly. It's just that she probably finds him. It was probably arranged, and she probably finds him a little boring.
Mm-hmm. And how does he feel about that?
He's very wrapped up in the economy. He's very focused on the money. He's just seems kind of almost amused by the whole thing. A little bored, a little amused. And when she gets kind of uppity, he just sort of, rolls his eyes and grumbles and goes along with what she tells him to go along with. But you get the feeling that he probably adores the hell out of her.
Okay.
It's very much a we'll get along just fine as long as you do everything I say kind of relationship. From her perspective.
Well, I'm willing to engage in more spirited discussion with her should the opportunity come. Maybe after a day of work, he's doing the books.
Yeah, she's happy to have a conversation with you. She seems relieved to have someone other than him to talk to. And during the conversation, she kind of explains that it's not that he's a bad man. It's just that they've been like each other's only company for weeks because of all the travel. And she's just so desperate to spend time with other people.
Absolutely.
He's a good man, but he's kind of a bore, is effectively what you get from her.
Well, we're here at this place. I believe there's a stall over there with a bit of a libation. And do they do evening shows?
I'm sure they do somewhere, but we haven't had time. We've only been here for a few days.
Now comes the part in a role player's life where he decides whether or not he's going to flirt with the married lady.
Oh, you poor thing. How many times has this happened in my games with you?
No, I think I'm just going to be, I'm an intense young man, and we're having serious conversations. And if she finds my passion attractive, well, this happened.
Okay. So you are not trying to sweep her off her feet.
Correct.
But you're not trying.
Also correct.
Okay. Cool. How do I want to do this? What do I want you to roll? I mean, this sounds like a panache and socializing to me. If you hit a 15, you will keep her entertained, but not get her too involved.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, no. If you hit a 15, you get her very, very interested, and she is sure that you are into her. If you can manage a 20, you keep her entertained, but don't lead her on.
Higher roll, better result.
Correct.
Lower roll, more chaos.
Correct.
And we're going panache plus
Socializing.
socializing. 4 keep 3. All right, dice. What kind of campaign are we playing?
15.
That's a 15 on the mark. The dice have spoken.
She is very clearly into you. By about halfway through the conversation, and at some point you guys hear a kind of gentle droning from behind the front part of the stall.
Mm-hmm.
In the little, like, it's almost like a little room, but it's like a tent, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And she kind of very carefully sticks her head behind the curtain, and then is grinning when she pulls it back out and looks at you. He's asleep. Let's go get a drink.
Awesome. Right this way, my lady.
I am not a lady. Don't call me that.
Madame? Osa.
Osa, just my name.
Very well. Offers an arm.
She takes it. And the two of you make your way to the nearest tavern, or are you going somewhere specific?
Yeah, nowhere specific.
You could go back to your place if you wanted.
Well, now that you mention it, sure.
Excellent. Halfway across the city, back to the Arrow and the Loon with another man's wife. Fantastic. All right. We're gonna make this an extended roll. I want to see how well you can hold your drink and whether or not you realize that she's ready to jump your bones. You get very, very tipsy. But you manage to not get completely shit-faced. Osa, on the other hand, is she's a little less, let's say, heavy-handed with her own drinking. She's got plenty of money, so she makes sure that the two of you always have your tankards full, but she does not drink quite as much as you do. However, she is very, very tipsy, very warm, very flirty. She's kind of leaning into you a lot. When music starts getting played, she pulls you up and wants to dance with you, the whole nine. Like, she is, every signal says go. But you have managed to keep your head the whole time. So, it is up to you what happens next.
I think Alonso, they dance, they have fun. He goes to the bathroom and has that moment of wait, what's happening? Because on the one hand, it's not really wrong. Affection is traded between people all the time. Their situation seems sort of like this. And I don't really know how it is in Vestal or the church doesn't really equality. She can make her own decisions. I'm not taken. Fuck it. And I think that's having come up with zero excuses not to do this, we proceed.
All right, I'm gonna give you a drama die for the bonus monologue, and him reasoning his way out of the guilt of sleeping with a married woman. When you return to the room after your trip to the bathroom, she you're not sure if she sees the look on your face and knows what's happening or if she has just made up her own mind, but as soon as you're in the room, she grabs your hand and starts pulling you towards the stairs. And unless you stop it, you two barely make it into your room before the clothes come off. And we fade to black.
Now, this is where we've gotten. We're following through.
Okay, cool. All right. You awake later that night at about 2 or 3 in the morning to her snapping awake and realizing what time it is and cursing in her own language and scrambling out of bed to get dressed. We fell asleep. I have to go back.
Yes. Shit.
She's shoving her feet into her shoes. Her blonde hair is just a mess.
So this was bad?
Well, the falling asleep was bad, but everything else was wonderful.
Oh. I don't know if she's aware of it, but Alonso has no context. This is deeply uncharted territory for him.
Yeah, I don't think she's aware because she's panicked at the moment. She'll figure it out at some point, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
She shoves her feet into her shoes and starts trying to tie her apron back into place.
I think there's water in there if you want it.
No, I have to get home and, be there when he wakes up in the morning so that, everything is fine. I'll see you when you come to work.
Yes. Yes. Yes? Certainly, yes.
Good. And she kind of darts over and plants a kiss on your lips, and then as she is pulling her hair back up off her neck, she kind of gives you a little wave as she darts out the door. And this single woman from upper middle class is going to go walk through one of the poorest parts of the city to get back to her husband in the middle of the night.
Yeah, there's a moment's pause. And then Alonso sits up and looks down and sees a necklace, a sort of locket, brooch, that he's been wearing for a couple of weeks now. And he remembers the dark night when he got it and what happened to its previous owner. Shit. Rapidly dressed as it chases after her.
Okay. Roll me just a raw finesse roll. DC 15. I want to see if you can get dressed and out the door fast enough.
$21.
Roll me another D10. I haven't seen someone roll this many 10s since I was a player at a 7C game.
28.
All right, very good. You manage to haul your pants on and shove your feet into your boots, and you are pulling your top on, like, while kind of holding the leather of your sword belt in your teeth, as you like dart out of the tavern and in and down the street, and you catch up with her maybe half a block later. She kind of looks over at you with wide eyes. You can't come back with me.
It is the middle of the night, and you are alone.
Yes?
I will walk you to the market.
Oh.
Or I am not doing my job.
Oh, that makes sense. You realize after a moment she may still be a little bit drunk, otherwise she may have thought of that on her own.
Mm-hmm. Shit, which way is the market?
This way. You think?
Okay.
Alonso?
Mm-hmm.
Navigation skill for streetwise. You do. Wits and street navigation, please. See if you can navigate the deeply unfamiliar, very large city in the dark. With a drunk girl on your arm.
$20.
Yeah, okay, you manage it. You don't know how, but you're not sure if this is just instinct or desperate need to not end up very dead because you got some dude's wife killed, but you managed to make your way back to the market. At one point you kind of have to brandish your sword a little bit to scare off a thief, but they catch sight of that silver when you kind of toss your cape aside and think better of it and run away.
Not this one, friend. Not this one.
You guys get to the edge of the market. She gives you a very long, slow kiss to say goodnight. And, still kind of blushing and looking happy, she turns and wanders back to the cart.
Well, this is unexpected.
I would like to apologize in advance. I heard thunder in the background.
Okay, well, we'll do our best, and if we get cut off, then we get cut off, and we'll pick it up later. It's fine.
Okay.
There's only the three of us. We can find another time that we're all available.
Mm-hmm.
A few nights after Alonso makes his friends in the Arrow of the Moon, you all, you both find yourselves outside of a modest chateau, kind of on the edges of the upper middle class part of Charouse. The stonework is clean, but a little worn. The lawn is small but tidy. And all of the lights in the house that you can see from the road, or from the street, are lit. And people are wandering in, and you realize, kind of with a start, that these people are from several different walks of life. You see people who look like they belong in, like, you know, working at a lower end job, maybe a cobbler's assistant. You see people who are in much nicer clothes that probably belong to, if not like landed gentry, then you know, fairly well-off merchants. You even see one man get out of a carriage and walk up the front steps in rather opulent clothing. Suggests that he is probably from the nobility itself. Alonso, your friends are around you. And
who is that man?
Which one?
I point to the guy who's just decked out in finery.
Oh, fuck if I know. He comes to most of these, though. Doesn't give his name. Not that I blame him.
Does he have either a badge of guild membership or a swordsman in his service?
Make me a straight wits roll.
$19.
You see the glint of a swordsman's guild pin on his lapel.
Interesting. And we'll head inside.
Viviana, you
Yes.
are dropped off via carriage. Just in time to watch a kind of scruffy-looking young man with tanned, very clearly Castilian features headed inside, surrounded by what look like the common riffraff of Montaigne.
Viviana will make a note of this, perhaps find him inside. He looks interesting, at the very least. She does have to find the Madame of the Chateau first. On top of it being good, she assumes she's the one hosting this. And it's good manners to greet the host on top of the other things.
You were told that the Madame du Chatelaine is the Madame of the house. You get down out of the carriage. The footmen take down your trunk and begin to carry it up to the front door, where a couple of servants rush out to greet them, and they look a little confused as they take it, and especially confused when they are handed a bird cage. But you do have a folded letter that is closed with a wax seal in your possession to give to the Madam of the house. So.
Viviana will head inside. She keeps her head held high. She has a fan with her that she intends to use to perhaps conceal certain conversations if need be. Also because it's pretty, and pretty things are nice. Her dress, she's wearing not the most exotic gown she owns, but it's nice. It's fancy enough. And she will head inside. She does toy a bit with the ring on her finger that covers her marking, and she heads in.
Okay. Alonso, as you are inside with your friends, and for both of yours reference, this place has quite a few people in it. It from the outside, it appears to just be a normal party, which Alonso, over your several days in the city, you have noticed is common in Charouse. There seem to be parties all the time. At one point, you just went for a walk throughout the upper classes neighborhood, the wealthy district, and there were every time you did, there was at least one salon being held, from what you could tell of the foot traffic and comings and goings of the carriages of the nobility and the gentry. However, this place is a hodgepodge, and you and your friends kind of make your way through the hall and into this large dining room. And you realize when you get into the dining room that the dining table has been moved from where you would assume it would be in the center of the room to be pushed up against a wall, and it is laden with food. Can you both make me raw wits rolls, please?
Sure.
DC 15 or 10. Sorry, DC 10.
Can I take a raise for interesting info?
Sure.
I will also take a raise, why not?
23.
19.
OT rolled 50-10. You and your never-ending pile of tens.
31.
Viviana, and I mean, both of you notice as you look at the place and at the spread, the dishes that this food is in are of wildly different qualities and styles. And it takes you a moment, and then you realize that there's a pretty good chance that a lot of this food was brought by different people. Everybody contributed something. Whether that has to do with the economic situation and the fact that even the hostess can't afford a big banquet, or if this is just the style that they prefer to do this in, they are certainly going very potluck with this. For more interesting information, Alonso, you...
You notice a strange Vidace woman?
Well, you do notice the Vidace woman, but she's not strange. She's probably one of the most gorgeous women you've ever seen. She's not otherworldly beautiful, but she is stunning. Literally. For interesting information, you very quickly pick out the hostess. She is a tall, thin woman with pale blonde hair that is pinned up above her head. She is not what someone would consider typically beautiful. She's got very deep set eyes that look like they've got kind of permanent bags around them, just because of how they sit in her head, and kind of almost gaunt features. But she is having a spirited debate with the man in the finery, and her eyes are kind of lit up with this excitement and passion that it, from what you have seen, is not common in general, but certainly not common in Charouse.
Interesting. After he snaps his eyes away from me, I'm the extremely pretty lady. Observes that in the... Matthias.
Yeah.
Should we have brought food?
Oh no, not everybody does. The madam asks some of them to. and they contribute, but not everybody does. There's not enough room for everybody to bring food. It's not our turn. My wife had, she made the most wonderful biscuit last night.
What happens now? Do we introduce ourselves, or should I introduce myself when this fine gentleman has stepped aside, or?
I will introduce you, but I think we may not be first in line. And he sort of like elbows you and up nods towards Viviana, who seems to be kind of waiting expectantly for her turn. Never seen her here here before.
So another first timer. Interesting.
It would seem so. Viviana, the man that is talking to the hostess, kind of glances over, spots you, quietly, makes his deferrals and kisses her knuckles and steps away, kind of gives you a subtle bow and gets out of your way so that you can make your way over.
Viviana will make her way over to the hostess. Madame Chatelaine?
Yes? I'm sorry, I do not know you. Who did you come with?
Viviana will hand her the letter.
She takes it and turns it to look at the seal, and then kind of nods and tucks it into her skirts without opening it. Welcome to the Chateau Chatelaine. You are welcome. We are having a gathering. You are welcome to attend, or if you wish, your rooms will be made ready for you.
Well, thank you for your hospitality, madam, and thank you for hosting such a wonderful gathering. It is not often that I see gatherings featuring people from all different sorts. Usually I see gatherings that are very exclusive, and, well, that can get a bit stuffy, no?
Indeed. I hope you will be kind enough to not tell anyone of this gathering. This would not be looked upon kindly.
Of course, discretion.
Excellent. Welcome. You must be hungry. There's food. Comfortable places to sit while when the conversations and speeches start. And as I said, if you wish a room, one of the servants will take you right up.
Thank you. For now, I think I will enjoy the conversation and the company.
Of course. I'm sorry, what is your name?
Viviana.
It is lovely to meet you, Viviana. I am Madeline. You let me know if you need anything.
Of course. Thank you again.
Of course.
And Viviana will head away. She will make eye contact with the Castilian man that she noticed before, because she definitely noticed him staring at her. And make eye contact, give him a small, subtle smile, fan herself a bit, and then head to the table for food.
Alonso, when she makes eye contact with you and kind of fans herself and walks away, Matthias kind of elbows you in the ribs. She likes to Castilian eat, huh?
I mean, it's her first time here. Maybe she knows it's mine.
I think everybody knows it's your first time here.
Am I obvious?
He kind of looks you over. Yes, but that's okay. Then we take all kinds. You go. Come on, I introduce you. And he takes your elbow and kind of clumsily pulls you through the crowd, again past the beautiful Vidachan woman, and up to the madam who turns. Matthias, you have a friend. So many new faces tonight.
It is a pleasure. I am Alonso Hernandez.
Madeline. Sorry, I was coughing. Madame du Chatelaine. And she kind of puts her hand out for you.
I kiss it.
Welcome. You are interested in the conversation and debate?
All ideas must be tested in the forge of debate. Therefore, I am always interested.
I most agree. Well, you are very welcome. There is food if you are hungry. There's always people looking to have a conversation, and the speeches will start soon.
Most gracious. If you have any need of me, I shall... Well, I suppose I shall stick out.
She kind of gives you a little smile. You do, but that is not a bad thing. You are not the only one. And she kind of looks over at Viviana.
Indeed.
Now, if you'll forgive me, I have to go make sure that one of my guests is not drinking all of the wine.
No, he's right here. And I grin at Matthias.
Matthias laughs. You are not truly Montaigne if you do not drink.
Well, then it won't be my problem, will it?
I suppose not.
Yeah, and I'll give her a bow and head back out to the floor. And then I gotta go talk to that girl.
I have put a picture in chat of the man in the finery so that you all know who you're looking at. You said you needed to do something and then go talk to the girl. What?
Alonso bows as he departs Madeleine's company. He's not going to go straight over to her, but she's eating. He could eat. A little strategic bumping into and conversation, I think.
Of course. Go on with your bad self. Viviana, the Castilian man, is making his way over and trying not to be obvious about it. But you're Budachin. It's obvious.
Liana will hide a smile behind her fan, and then close it, and then begin taking some food for herself. She will absolutely be sure to get some wine.
Mm-hmm. Do you know which wine is best, Madame?
Oh, well, this is my first time here, and I've not been to Montaigne before, but Viviana will take one particular glass of wine, inspect it as though she is a connoisseur, and then hand it to him. I think this will suit your tastes.
Thank you. It is my first time here as well. In the chateau in Montaigne. It is an interesting country.
Well, interesting is one word for it.
Would you choose another?
Oh, well, that depends on the exact nature of the company I am in.
It seems he turns and sort of leans on the table, reviewing the room. It seems we are in all sorts of company.
Yes.
Though you shall find mine tight-lipped.
Oh, gracious game master.
Yes.
much would Viviana know about the general economic state of Montaigne? Because I know some stuff, but I don't want to meddle.
Do you have the politics skill? Knack. Sorry, do you have the politics knack?
No.
Then you could make just a raw wits roll?
Okay. What's the DC?
15.
Okay.
To have some basic information.
I have one drama die remaining, correct?
I don't know. I don't track your drama die, but probably. I think you spent one earlier.
Yeah, I spent one earlier. I was just doing some math in my head. Yeah, I have one drama die remaining. I will take a raise.
Okay. Go ahead and roll. Well, that's a 13, so you need at least a 7 on your drama die.
I will spend my drama die. That's a 10.
Roll another. $27. Or no, 30. Very good. You know that Montaigne, well, obviously you know that Montaigne is at war. And it doesn't take a genius to know that war tends to be bad for the country as a whole, but worse for those on the bottom. And you have heard that there are whispers of the beginnings of famine.
Viviana will look to Alonso and say, well, what do you call a country that treats those who have built it up? Because the common man is always the muscle of the country, what keeps it strong. What do you call a country that treats those who have built it as though they are nothing?
Montaigne.
Exactly.
So you have seen the land? You've met the people?
Yes, it does not take much. If you are looking for anything beyond the pretty mask, it does not take much effort to notice.
Less than I expected, if I'm honest.
Yes, well, it is considered a faux pas to mention that which is blatantly obvious.
Indeed. How did they so deny reality?
Well, when you have enough money, it is easy to deny anything.
Well, perhaps when you have too much.
Exactly.
Forgive me, my manners have left me. Puts his plate and cup down. Does a perhaps a little too elaborate bow. My name is Alonso Hernandez.
It is good to meet you, Alonso. She'll extend her hand.
Takes it, kisses the knuckle.
I am Viviana.
Viviana. It is a true pleasure to meet you, Viviana.
You are not the first man to tell me that within a few moments of meeting me.
I consider myself unsurprised. The chateau. What brings you to this aside from your apparent political interests, did you know someone? You know the lady herself, perhaps?
Yes, you could say I know the lady herself.
Then perhaps I shall, if so asked. Or tight-lipped, right?
Not necessarily tight-lipped. We have friends in common.
I am surprised to hear it, but not displeased.
All right. Is there anything in particular you two want to talk about, or are you going to make small talk until the speeches start?
I would like to just see if I can get Alonso's measure. See if I perhaps notice the Swordsman's Guild pin.
You are standing directly in front of him. It's not hard to see. It's also not hard to see the hilt of the sword on his hip, or the mangosh that is also sheathed next to it.
Okay, good. Noticing that, I think Viviana will just try to ascertain more about his politics, that sort of thing, without making the conversation too terribly heavy-handed. And, add in a bit of seduction, because why not?
Excellent. Okay.
Now that seems like a scenario for a roll.
Oh,
There are things he's sharing in there.
I'm looking at the sheet.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Cool.
Alonso, you are so wildly outclassed here. Okay.
Possible.
I would like you both. Well, let's do it this way. Viviana, I would like panache and oratory versus Alonso's wits and cold reading.
My Indomitable Will feature gives 2 extra dice to resist social checks.
Then you can have 2 extra dice for that. And Viviana, do you find Viviana pretty?
Yes.
Then Viviana gets her beauty dice.
What's the... Oh, is this just a roll-off?
Yep, I'm just having you both roll.
Okay. Okay, I'll roll another d10.
Good God. Okay. OT, would you like to tell Glamour what your general political leanings are?
Yeah. Alonso initially is, he's here making friends. He's trying to be, I think the initial thing you get is there's a sense of trying to fit in. Seems like everybody here has a problem with the opulence of Montaigne. Alonso dislikes Montaigne. As a Castellan, not overly surprising. But once you get past that, he is cagey about other beliefs. And probably, as a person of the Doge who has met many people before, you recognize a religious person who's trying not to talk about it.
And given this country that you're in, that's not terribly surprising, Viviana.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you also trying to size her up?
Absolutely.
All right. Panache and oratory versus Viviana. Do you have cold read?
Not cold read, no.
Let me see. Let's do wits and... This isn't quite what this is for, but let's do wits and sincerity.
Do I add my beauty? Do I add my beauty dice again, or just the ones?
Nope.
Okay.
Haha, 27. So you're 25.
Right. Do you want to use a drama die? Do you have a drama die to use?
No, I believe I have used all of my drama dice.
Okay. Tell OT tell Alonso what he learns about Viviana's political leanings and feelings.
Viviana has a general inclination to try to stand up for those who are disadvantaged. She understands what it is like to be from a country that, perhaps not firsthand, but what it is like to be from a country that looks down on you just based on the station of your birth. And she has a general problem with people using wealth to mask their problems, because that does not actually solve the problem. You get the inclination that perhaps she didn't intend to be as politically involved as she, or as politically intent as she currently is. Maybe once, but this is where she's ended up.
Excellent.
Right on. I think as the speeches begin, we're wrapping up a conversation about, what's the city's name again? Charouse, architecture, which is very much a metaphor for a beautiful facade and serious problems underneath.
Okay. Dig it. As the speeches are starting, you two settle into your chairs with a bunch of other people and begin to listen. Some of the speeches are more academic, and they're from people who are probably from the university, or they're researchers who just happened to be in the city at the time. They talk about the higher learning. They talk about areas of higher learning. Alonso, from your experience that a lot of those areas were kind of pioneered by the church before the Inquisition took over. Some of the speeches are more rousing and very political, verging on the outright revolutionary. We need to do away with the monarchy and have something closer to the old Newman Senate or something like that. Some of them are more about what wealth does to corrupt people, and the fact that the little people are going to have to rise up and take their country back, because otherwise they're just going to be starved into oblivion by the upper class. The lady of the house at some point stands up and gives a moving and exceptionally well-researched and well-reasoned speech about better treatment for women across like the world as a whole. And the fact that far too many women go forgotten and are forced into secondary and lesser positions in society when there's no reason why they can't contribute just as much as the men do, and why they shouldn't be allowed to have just as much power and influence. She kind of waxes poetic for a little bit, specifically about the Fate Witches in Vedace and the poor treatment that they receive. Not being allowed to read, forced to wear veils and not look people, the fear that everybody has about ever looking them in the eye, that sort of thing. And it goes on for hours. It is passionate and spirited, and at times it breaks out into debate where people argue back and forth, but it's never in bad taste or in bad blood. It's just this open sharing of thoughts and ideas. And the challenging of those thoughts and ideas. And eventually the night wraps up with everybody in good spirits, and everybody's blood is up a little bit. People kind of break off, and there's like one-on-one conversations and debates again until eventually people start to go home. And I believe, with that in mind, that is where we're going to leave it for the night. And we'll pick up next time with episode 1 of season 1. I'm very excited. Woo!
Right.
Thank you for listening to Opus de Requiem, a 7th C first edition actual play by Hollowhaven Studios. Storytelling for this actual play is provided by Bloodied Porcelain. Alexander Hutcheson is played by Bookkeeper. Lucia De Felici is played by Clara Allison. Heinrich von Groth is played by Typhoon. Alonso Hernandez is played by Overthinker. Viviana Lucani is played by Glamour. Our intro music is by Sémø. Our art is by Daryl Arazak, who can be found at artstation.com/Daryl Arazak. Our editing is by Virens.